So excited today to go live with Monica. Monica and I have known each other for, gosh, a few years now, I feel like.
Yeah.
And she decided to join me inside the last round of PPP. And I'm just so happy to have her here. Monica, tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Well, hi, I'm Monica. I'm here calling in from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So I am a business and marketing coach, a growth and marketing mentor, as well as a fractional CMO for established product-based business owners. And I really help them simplify their growth by creating a growth game plan that really helps them break through the kind of revenue plateaus that they're at right now, but in a way that they make more time, get more time in their schedule, stop feeling so stressed, and also get some reclaim some time, not just personal time, but also for actual marketing and creation in their business.
Yeah, I love that. And I know when we were starting to work together, we were actually working a little bit about your offer and making some tweaks and
Mhm.
changes. And so it's funny this time. Every round I feel like there's a little bit different, and I feel like this last round there was definitely a handful of people in here that were really coming in to not only just create a pre-launch plan, but also go like, okay, maybe there's some other tweaks that
Okay,
need to
yeah.
happen in my business. And so what tell me a little bit about like what your business has looked like in the past and what made you decide, okay, I want to do the pre-launch plan program.
Okay, well, I'll try not make that the long story. There's a long story behind it, but basically over the last few years, I've been niching down constantly and really trying to nail down who I'm helping and how they offer them. And I think since the last 2 to 3 years, it's been, well, actually just about pandemic time. I think I really nailed like, yes, it's product based, it's e-commerce business owners, and I actually created this mentorship because I was doing them all a bit separately and so many different choices, and I bundled it all together, and it was starting to work out. Over then, I was getting clients on and off. I can't say it was like super consistent, but you kept seeing things go in the right direction. But yeah, it was then the pandemic, and life changed personally. Life changed in the world outside us, and I think after that, it's been a constant struggle, just not knowing what's working, knowing that everything I'm saying is kind of resonating with everybody. They love what I say, they love what I do, they keep giving me that feedback, but it was always like it's not the right time or the money's just not there to work, like the consistent objections I kept getting. And then I kind of reached a standstill where I was like, okay, I'm not even getting clients anymore after a year of even trying to get in front of new audiences, doing all the right actions, being on I did a whole podcast tour, 20 podcasts, referral program, gave some free trainings to people who were joining my email list from different summits I'd joined to just keep that engagement going. So I did all the right things, but I wasn't seeing the results at all anymore. So I was like, something bigger needs to change. And that's when I was like, what should I do? And then I remembered, of course, you, the pre-launch. I'd been thinking of it for a few years. I think we spoke in the past as well, and it just felt like this time was the right time to do it. Like, and I just was ready to take that step back and look at my business, not just from the pre-launch plan, but like, do I need to change something bigger in it in terms of either audience or offer, and therefore the positioning and messaging and content as well. So I kind of just went in with a blank slate, and I'm like, let me see where this takes me.
Right. And so can you talk a little bit about like once no, coming in with that purpose, like what happened once you were inside the program?
Yeah, so I think the first interesting thing was probably is that, we have such a the way I work with my clients is so similar to what you do.
Right.
Except that you come up with the pre-launch content. For me, it's actually marketing strategy and growth game plan, and it's for a different audience. So I think it was a bit weary having my kind of felt like my process being used on myself. It was a bit scary as well, even though I do this with my clients. Um, but then just coming in and starting those, especially those customer interviews, I think, and I really went all out on there.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, I didn't just do the 3 to 4. I'm like, I'm going to speak to different people in the different stages and everything, and you make sure I use this time to really do it properly and not feel like, did I miss anything? Um, and that was really eye opening, and it was fun because I love talking. I can go on talking. I love talking. I love engaging, connecting with people. So for me, doing those kind of conversations are really a lot of fun, and it was really super eye opening. I think the only thing for me is just because we have such similar processes, to just like put my own hat like away and say I'm going to just follow what Brenna is saying and how to ask those questions in her way and what she's suggesting, to try and not mix that up too much either. I think that was a bit of a challenge initially, but then I let it go and I'm like, I just went in it completely open and I really enjoyed just doing those conversations. It was super, super eye opening. I think what I learned, I ended up speaking, I can't remember, like, I don't know, 8 to 12 people or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And why do you feel like it was so eye-opening?
Um, I think in my case, because I went in it's also so open, I think understanding where people were really at now in their business, after all these changes in the markets, what they really wanted, how I and the I spoke to people who were actually my clients and people who were non-clients. So I know they've been following me, but so actually speaking to my clients and seeing the real impact I had and how it also went beyond just the business numbers, that was super inspiring, to see them really take control of their business. And it was eye-opening because at the end I think we also came out and like, well, actually my offer, it all works. It's just, um that didn't I didn't have to do such a big change that I thought I did, but it was overall getting that, and even all the content I've been putting out there made sense, but I think the overall positioning and messaging that brings it together, there I probably niched down way too much, and what was making it such a hard conversation to have most of the time. And that was also super eye-opening for me to realize, wait, I don't just do communication and connection, I really do marketing strategy, business strategy, which is true, and that's been my entire career anyways, so it kind of
Right.
fit. But for some reason I wasn't talking about that, and I think that's why everything felt like such a hard sell half the time.
Right, and I think that's what we really started to dig into, like, what do these people want? Like, what do we need to say? And,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree, and I'd love to speak to really quickly too, because sometimes I know, people, we've been had so many wonderful marketers go through this program, copywriters, right? And there's that sense like, well, I kind of already know this. Can you speak to that I guess it would be objection, right? Like, gosh, I don't want to take a program of something I already kind of know.
Well, absolutely. So one, I got 20 years experience in marketing, global marketing, brand management, strategy consulting. So I have been doing this in so many ways, from formal research with research agencies to working with, doing things on my own, to then actually having coming with all the content and plans. So, and then having such a similar process myself, I was like, well, I should be able to do this myself, right?
Right.
But it's just different to have somebody, and I think it's the same I tell my clients, right? Having somebody to walk through it, because we have our own biases when we look at our business, first and foremost. And to have somebody, there are moments you can get stuck, and to be able to have somebody to talk through that as well, is just so different. I think to just take that distance, and it's hard to do that on your own. It's really hard to take that distance on your own. So to have somebody else who understands you and what you're doing to walk you through that, I think in itself, um, is, I think, worth everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I think something too, for if someone's watching this and thinking about it too, is this is why I keep the cohort small, because I'm putting like my brain on your business. It's not just like I'm facilitating. I'm
No.
really helping you go through and strategize and figure this stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I even looked into a few other options in between. I was like, some people had suggested some other names, which was a session for for like 3 hours, just a session, or this, and then it just didn't feel right. I'm like, okay, I need to dive into this where I'm really going step by step and speaking to my customers, because doing another session somewhere where you're just going to work on your messaging without going back to your customers, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Because it doesn't tell you what's really happening.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, and that's it. It's so much. There's so much we learn so much when we speak to
Yeah,
people and find out and speak to our right client. And
yeah.
so, can you say like after the program was over, like how were you feeling overall?
I got. I think the more I went through the program, the more excited I was getting again about my business. I was like, oh, this position, this messaging just makes so much more sense because it is what I do. I just wasn't telling people. It just brought everything together. Also realizing that I didn't have to overhaul everything in my business. It wasn't like I had to make so many big changes. It was actually refinements. So that relieved the stress as well. Thinking, I have to start over again. So it wasn't anything like that. So I just kept getting more and more excited. I think just really working through every step and writing out all the content. and just feeling at the end of it, just being ready with all my content done, and now I can implement. um, was really good, and I love to be able to just go back to writing myself again. 'Cause it's not always been my biggest strength, so to get that advice ongoing on how to write and be able to tweak, get your eyes on it, and just developing that skill further was fantastic for me too. Again, I'm still listening sometimes back to some of the recordings and like writing my emails out. It still helps me. Also seeing the others, I think, and what was great is I think I really chose because of my personal situation with kids. Like, I'm going to work through this, make everything ready, and then implement. But
Hmm.
seeing some others in the group who were already implementing as they go along, that was super inspiring and motivating as well, because you can actually see what's happening. And everybody, and like you said, it's not, you're not teaching us anything. It's literally doing the work. You walk out with actually writing out your full content for like a 6 week period. So it's so actionable, and yeah, I just felt so ready and excited to move forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's really one of the goals with the program too, is like, this is an implementing program. This isn't something that you're just sitting
No,
back and you are learning, right? Because you learn as you
yeah,
implement. But I learned by doing. And so I think that's how probably why I set it up the way I set it up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't think I could have gone through another like course in a traditional sense. So this is
Right.
like bite-sized video. See what you need to do. Go take action and do it. And then those weekly calls where we just get your brains and eyes and skills onto our writing and make it even better. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and one thing I would love to ask you about is because you did a private podcast, which is,
Hmm.
one of the things that, with talking to people is like you can use like what I show you is you can apply it to different mediums, whether it's
Yeah.
Instagram, whether it's a live. So can you talk, because I know private podcasts people are really interested in right now.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are using it also for short periods. I've decided to actually just launch a private podcast as an ongoing thing, where the first few weeks is my pre-launch content. In my case, I loved it because, for me, well, I love talking, like I said, so it made sense. But I wanted something that didn't feel very stressful. Like, if I skip a week, it's okay, right? It's not like a
Right.
formal podcast or a live content where I've promised to be there every week. And I really, that's how I also kind of sell it, like voice note style, bite sized, like no episode is more than 15 minutes, maybe longest is 16 minutes. So it's something very easy for people to listen on the go or anytime between all their work that they're doing. Um, it is obviously another channel to get people on to subscribe, which is an
Hmm.
extra step, but that's also so I can actually see who's subscribing. I'm getting their emails. If new people or from people from my current list, they're actually listening. I can see that, so I know who's more engaged. So even if it's a small audience, I know I can do something more with that again, to try and talk to those people further and just see what they're all interested in. So for me, so far, it's interesting. I just started in after we were done. So in about February, I launched it. So it's still just building up,
Right.
but I'm enjoying doing it so far, and I'm just going to see what the results are as we go forward.
And I know you're in the middle of your pre-launch right now. Can you
Yeah.
talk about how it feels to just have all that content like done and
I've
not
never had
not be
that.
right? Even it's funny, even as marketing people, right? That's the hardest thing is keeping up on your own content. You can do it for clients, but
I don't think I've ever had my content ever ready like this for a period. I think the only work I had to do is where I had to just I had my weekly podcast episodes done. I had my emails done. The only thing left was to translate them to social media, but it's literally just cutting them down to smaller pieces and putting that out. So it just saves me so much more time. I mean, I'm a mom of two kids. I'm solo parenting during the weekdays nowadays. So for me, it's just to be that organized was just really helpful. Not everything needs to be on the fly, and that feels good. And then I add on my own, more personal kind of things on the fly, depending what's going on that week in between, to make sure it's also timely. But just having the main content done is just relieves all that stress.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So if anyone is, listening and they're like on the fence or thinking about taking the pre-launch plan program, what would you tell them?
Just do it. um, well, honestly, I can't give you a reason not to do it, because no matter what stage of business you at, like in my case, I was really just figuring out the whole thing again. But otherwise, just walking out and improving your whole pre-launch phase, that nurture sequence before you even go into selling. No matter how many times you've done it, you can always improve on things, right? So and like I said, it's pure implementation program. That's exactly what it is. And if you follow along and get it done in those weeks, you know, you literally have you looking into everything. And it will cost you a ton to hire somebody else as a copywriter to do that work. So you're developing your skills, you're getting your eyes on it. It's fully an implementation program. You're done with everything by the end of it. Um, and whether you're just like figuring things out again, like I was, or you just want to improve on what you have, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you being part of the program and coming online with me. Monica, can you tell people where to find you? And once we're done, go back and under this video and put a little link so people
Okay.
can go listen to your private podcast. And especially, I know we have ecom people in part of this group.
Yeah, so well, you can find me on Instagram, anyways, on Business with Monica. LinkedIn, I'm active under my full name, Monica Sharma Patnekar, and otherwise, just subscribe to my private podcast, with businesswithmonica.com/, private podcast. I'll drop the link for you. So yeah.
Well, good. And thank you. If you're watching this, the pre-launch plan program officially opens today. At this point, we're already at more than 30% full. So if you want a spot, come in and get in there. And I will drop the link also to the program if it's something you want to take a look at. So thank you, Monica. I appreciate you being here so much.
No, and thank you for all your help. Seriously, I'm so happy I did this finally.
Yeah, then there's no better compliment to me than hearing that
Yeah,
after someone takes the program. So thank you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.